Before we do, let's get to our question of the week. We're sticking with the World Cup and it is sponsored by Condor Darts. Our question of the week, prediction time. Who is going to win the 2024 World Cup of Darts? Who are you going with?
Oh, it's a really boring answer, Alex, isn't it? But it is hard to look past England, isn't it? I mean, I think that Luke Humphries is really looking forward to this, and he can't wait. And I think that what we did see, I mean, in fairness to, if we're looking at form, I mean, Luke Humphries did not play to the best of what he can do in Leverkusen, did he? But Michael Smith certainly started to come into his own. So I think that's very promising. And as a result, as a duo, it really is hard to look past those two, I would say. I think there are question marks on the other three seeds. Certainly, I'm sure you're going to expand on these shortly, but we haven't seen Johnny Clayton for a few events since he had that fantastic run in the previous Euro Tour. In the Netherlands, both Noppert and Van Gogh didn't perform to the best that they could do in Leverkusen, for example. And I just don't think there's enough firepower in that chasing pack to really cause England make a run for the title. So yeah, it's a dull answer. I really wish I could come up with something a bit more creative, but it is hard to look past them, isn't it? What do you think?
Well, I was going to go with England as well. I'm now thinking maybe I've got to change my mind now. But no, lots of you getting involved in our poll on Twitter as well. Still time to go and vote and have your say, so please do. And at the time of recording, 45%, they're being boring as well. They're going with England. 33% are going with other. 16% with Wales. 6% going with the Netherlands. And I'll read some of our listeners' predictions as well. Lewis Main saying Northern Ireland. George Dobson going with Singapore. Callum saying Wales is the safe option. Who knows how Smith and Humphries will play together. Ben Hudd saying Germany. Warren Allsworth, Germany beat Scotland in the final. So we've got a nice mix of predictions there from our listeners anyway. But it's a tough to predict, I think, because, like I said, there are question marks around the three favourites, England, Wales and the Netherlands. England on paper, yeah, you've got the world number one, the world number three, Humphries and Michael Smith. How can that pairing be stopped? But we've seen it before. We've seen shocks in the tournament. We've seen Scotland, Wright and Anderson going into a World Cup as the number one seed, losing to the Limbs, Singapore in the first round. We've seen the first year, the dream team, if you like, Raymond van Barneveld and Michael van Gerwen were together, losing to Finland. And probably the most famous upset we've seen in the World Cup, going back to the first year, James Wade and Phil Taylor, who were the world number 1 and 2. So slightly better in terms of rankings than this England team this year. And they lost their first game to Spain. So upsets do happen, but the more I look at it, the more I am favouring England here as well. And you mentioned about the football earlier. I've given up on football coming home after watching that England-Denmark game last week. And I don't know about you, Matthew. We are recording on a Monday night. I would have happily recorded this week's show on a Tuesday night and missed the next England game. But I'm probably going to go for a swim on Tuesday night instead. That's how low my interest is in the Euros right now. But with the darts, I do have faith that England can bring darts home. There's the discussion about whether it's better to be a seed and have that bye to the second round, or is it better to start in the first round and have those two games to bed into the tournament. But I think the changing format now, that one long game of pairs, it gives those seeds a little bit of time to settle into it. And I think Smith and Humphries, they are going to click. They are going to go all the way for England. But who do they beat in the final? It's tough because we don't have that draw bracket beyond the group stage. We know it definitely could be Wales or the Netherlands based on how the seedings work. The rest is guesswork right now. So I'm going to guess and say they beat Germany in the final. And if the draw doesn't work out that way, then I'll go with one of the seeds. I'll say they beat Wales in the final instead.